So without further ado, I want to go to the most important part of this webinar, the CEMS Alum of the Year 2016. This is also a project that was initiated in the cooperation between the Student Board and the Alumni Association. And we have two very inspiring alumni that have won in 2016. Joeri van Geelen, he studied at RSM and in Norway. And Karen Jestin studying at HEC and Bocconi back in 1993. So first of all, I would like to give a short introduction about both of them. They will also tell a little bit more about themselves. But for example, for Joeri van Geelen, the interesting aspect is that he's had ups and downs. One of the interesting things is that he was awarded the #1 best young professional below 34 years of age for his forward vision on sustainable and renewable energy solutions within the oil and gas industry when he was working at Shell. This was, of course, something, it was a high for him. He's very engaged in renewable energy and aims to make some changes in the industry. You will hear from that later, but he has also had some moments where he felt actually a little bit inferior. One was last winter, where he, in Sakhalin, in the Russian far east of the Russian Federation, is working at this moment, and he encountered on his mountain bike together with some friends a mother bear and some of their cubs. They have been racing away very hard, and they were luckily not between the mother bear and the cubs, otherwise Joeri would not have been with us potentially today. So you see there are quite some different experiences that Joeri can share with us in the exciting life that he's living. For Karin, Karin also was awarded by many alumni students. She, amongst others, was supporting the company Lombardier that was awarded by the Financial Times the best private bank for philanthropy services, one area that she was cooperating and leading in. And she was with her husband with us in Stockholm, and it was very nice to meet them and talk with them, as they have so much experiences in the philanthropical world that I'm very sure you will enjoy listening to. So without further ado, I would like to give the word to Joeri and Karin and let them present at this moment.
All right. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Shall I start, or what is the protocol, Wieteke?
Yes, please. Absolutely. Go ahead.
All right. So let me just load the presentation, see if that works. Let me see. Yeah. I see the presentation on the screen. Can you see the same? Can you confirm?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, so very excited, guys, girls, everybody here on the call to reconnect to CEMS. It's actually already 6 years ago since I graduated, but it still feels like yesterday, and I still feel like a CEMS student, and I think it should always stay like that. And I think we all probably agree that it feels like a family of very helpful and inspiring people and leaders of the future. Well, to briefly take you through my life, so my name is. So if you ever hear somebody with a surname starting with Van, then it's most certainly somebody from the Netherlands. Born and raised there, but I guess I'm at the end of the day born global, and hence also my entry into CEMS with no regret at all. I've listed a few companies that I actually was engaged with, and the funny thing is that all of these experiences, they have led me there via CEMS. So the first one is Airbus. When I was the vice president of the student board in 2008, which was, by the way, an experience often and on its own, um, meeting students, corporate partners, schools, because we were globalizing by that time. We were still truly a European alliance, and that has grown ever since. So together with the, by that time, president of the student board, we participated in a global business competition of Airbus. And that was about offsetting carbon emissions, well, a bit in line with the CEMS forest ideas I just heard, and eco-fuels. So that's actually where my passion for renewable, sustainable energy solutions started. Then at the same time, so it was also during my CEMS studies, who said that man cannot multitask? I think it's an illusion. Also, the National University of Singapore, there was a global business competition that we participated in during our master studies in Rotterdam with two other students, and it was on well, internationalizing a medical device firm. Then, after my half a year in Rotterdam, I went to Norway for my exchange semester, and I did my international business project at Statoil. So I furthered the curve in the energy industry. Then during my master thesis, worked at the Ministry of Economic Affairs, completely different experience working at the government. And I was writing my master thesis about the differences in networking activity between managers and entrepreneurs. And that gave me great insight in how I want to set my vision for the future. Then, via another CEMS student in Rotterdam who was working in Siemens Wind Power, I ended up doing my internship for CEMS at Siemens Wind Power in Shanghai, in China. So when I was finishing my master thesis, I already went to China and I started studying Chinese for 8 months in Beijing. And then I wanted to apply the language learnings into business environment. So I started joining Siemens Wind Power. And yeah, I can share a whole story about it, but maybe it comes later on the renewable effect of wind power. Then I went back to the Netherlands, actually, back to the base, started my graduate program at Shell in contracting and procurement in the commercial skill pool. I've been in the Netherlands, back to Norway, actually, back to the Netherlands. And then I was facing a decision. I needed to choose another assignment out of the graduate program, away from sponsorship, because during a graduate program you're usually guided and you're part of a supported community. And then I needed to get out there in the real world and apply for jobs. And I ended up in, as some say, the middle of nowhere. But I think it's a great place to be, and it's in the far eastern part of Russia. And the island is called Sakhalin. And I'm currently there now, a category manager in the contracting and procurement space in drilling. And I'm managing a portfolio of about 1.7, $1.8 billion of contracts. So great exposure. And I made my move to Sakhalin because Sakhalin is known for being big on LNG, liquefied natural gas, and it has a great potential for the future. And I believe in the sustainable, the sustainable effect that LNG can have in pushing out coal. So Sakhalin Energy is a joint venture between Gazprom, Shell, Mitsui, and Mitsubishi. So I'm finding myself in more of a joint venture environment over here, and that is challenging every day and interesting every day. So a bit more, very quick about Sakhalin Energy. Sakhalin. So Sakhalin is based all the way in the east. I hope you can see it on the map with the ring around the island. It's just north of Japan. And we have Arctic conditions over here. So in the winter time, it's about -20, -25, but it's dry and it doesn't actually feel that cold. And we have a lot of snow dumps, and I'll show you a bit about my private life before I move on to sharing my experiences and my tips for you current students. So this is how Sakhalin looks like in the winter time. A lot of snow, so we have snowstorms, snow dumps, which come and go. So it can be that you wake up and you have 1 to 3 meters of snow outside of your apartment overnight. You cannot exit your apartment anymore, and you have a day off from the office. So always hoping that that happens during the week. On the left upper corner, you see me digging out my car. A lot of snow has fallen in the morning. Studded tires to have good grip. I started doing cross-country skiing, classic style, and well, actually yesterday I came back from the freestyle skating. On the right upper corner was the day before yesterday. I went ice fishing for the first time. So drilling a hole in the ice, and 15 meters down there's fish. Left down is alpine skiing. So you see the city of Yuzhno-Sakhalinsk where I'm living on the background. And basically it's 5 minutes drive from the office, and you can go skiing also in the evening. And snowmobiling, something that I've never done. I'm sharing my private life because it leads to my next slide. So I was asked to reflect upon what shaped me during my studies, and well, of course, we all have our life-defining moments, and the one that has had most impact, and actually very positive impact, has been the early loss of my father. So in May this year, it's been 10 years ago when my father passed away, and he's been going through a long period of disease. And what I've learned from him is that with a positive mindset and courage and perseverance, resilience, a lot is possible. And it's a miracle, the process that he went through. And I'm still inspired by him every day, and I'm getting the energy from his willpower still every day, and that is great. Entrepreneurial failure. So I've tried to start up several ventures next to my studies, and I actually failed. I mean, failed in terms of I haven't managed to make that my lasting business, and mainly so because, and that's what I want to share with all of you. If you go for something, then I think you want to go for it fully. And I did it part-time, and I had an IT team to manage, and the IT team obviously wasn't motivated to go the extra mile if seeing that some of the co-founders are only doing it part-time. So vision is important, and focus is very important to stay on track. And then I said people, 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 and that actually means all of you. CEMS students, I've been so inspired by my peer students, and I still am. If I look at the students that graduated 6 years ago, my best friends, if I see what they all do, it's amazing, and it's lifelong friendship, and yeah, I think we all can resonate with that. Traveling the world, I don't think I need to cover that. Enriching, fun, and yeah, it's helping to expand your mindset. Then, what advice would I give to the current SEM students, many of you? So, what really helped me, and I'll quickly share the way that I did that in the next slide, is to find out your real vision. And I think that is important, especially during your studies, to find out what you're passionate about. And knowing yourself means that you know your own values, and that you are unique, which means that you have unique skills, you have unique characteristics, and use them to the full. And try and really think in a long-term plan, and have a dream, have a vision on what you want to achieve in your life. And with that, find your passion. So I think when you're waking up in the morning, you should find something in life that inspires you that much that it doesn't feel like work. And once you find that passion, yeah, share that passion with your friends, with your colleagues, so that they can help you along the way. They'll remember what your passion is about. Build a support network. We all need that. We need people to inspire us, to help us, and also the other way around, to give to them. Very important. I believe in serendipity, which means that I believe I've met people for a reason in my life, and they came at a moment that I was open to feel sort of the purpose of why I met them, and they really brought me to the next phases in my life. Personal development goes without saying. I think we're all on that path as ambitious SEM students. The next one, work on your behaviors. This is from my experience, and it's only a brief 6 years now with some internships. Is that what I found out in the corporate world is that it's a lot about who you know, how you do things, and only then what you do. So it's a bit sad to share this with you, but if you, for example, prepare a negotiation or a presentation, and you've worked a long time to get it all in, but you don't really know how to present it, and you have not really invited the right people, or you don't really know how to influence your stakeholders, then it's still going to be seen as an inferior performance. And you need people, you need sponsors in life. So really focus on building your network, focus on how you do things, and obviously deliver what you're supposed to. A positive mindset, stay positive throughout downturns and fallbacks. And that's why I shared some of my personal life pictures of my winter time over here. Also because people thought that I was crazy moving to the far eastern part of Russia. And I've taken the challenge. I've just went out there, and I'm actually finding it a great place to be. And that is to really find your balance in terms of health, so mental, physical, because that's, I think, denominator for the rest of your happiness and success in life. Social, so your family, your partner, your friends, your CEMS friends, and only then I think professional. All right. Then let me share with you what really helped me in formulating my vision, and then I'll quickly share my vision and wrap up. So what I did when I was actually studying CEMS still, I sat down on a Sunday afternoon with, I think by the time it was a nice cup of tea, because I don't drink coffee, so that's how I remember. And that what I did is I visualized myself 20 years from now. So I tried to put myself in the shoes of me being 20 years older. And what I tried to do is I tried to think about what would make me happy in 20 years from now. And I was trying to answer questions like you see on the screen, like where do I live? I think for all of us that's a difficult question to answer. What work do you do? What makes you happy? Do you want children? If so, how many? Do you want to be in a relationship, or do you want to be a global nomad and just enjoy what you're doing? And then what I did is I took that 20 years period and I cut it down to 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, 1 year, and I ended up with what am I going to do tomorrow to get there? And these small steps then help you to get to your foreseen dream. And my personal future vision, and I wanted to put a bit of that in the context of somebody you all know, and that's Elon Musk. But he's not been around by the time that I was setting my vision, but he's definitely the one that already worked it in a very effective way. But I want to build sustainable energy solutions in whatever kind of way that really look at the status quo and look at what can be improved at the moment. So I'm working for Shell, which a lot of you think is a big oil giant. But actually, Shell became a gas company. And what I believe, what I really want to contribute to going forward is to really work on the major idea that will disrupt this industry, and I think that is nuclear fusion. So I try to get different experiences in the energy industry. I take this very long term, and I make steps, and I analyze it every year if I'm on track to really get to know the industry from inside out, and to understand what political factors are at play before I jump in and really make a change and a big change via ripple effects. What I really enjoy doing is also driving change via corporate structures that already exist, and while influencing people in the organization, especially higher up. And then I think there's a difference between leadership and management. So for me, leadership is really about working your vision instead of working your KPIs and going for your performance scores. And well, that inspires me a lot. So last week, actually, a few of these news flashes came out on Shell, where Shell has been, well, Shell's CEO has been claiming that the faith in fossil fuels is disappearing, and also that Shell is committed to invest $1 billion every year into renewable energy. Other companies like Disney, Microsoft followed the same trajectory, carbon offsetting, and also making that goals of executive bonuses. And I think it's really shareholder driven. So you see that shareholders want the same, and I think it's up to companies. If governments fail to do so, it's up to companies to take the lead in this. So last but not least, my final words of closure. Dream and dream big and aim big, and define your vision already now, and try and do this exercise on the Sunday afternoon with a drink, and do that before you start your career, because you'll be influenced by a lot of different ways and different people and career trajectories. So try and do it now, and obviously be flexible and see that as a rolling target, and adjust your vision along the way, and sharpen it, update it, because you will gain experience. And well, last but not least, I think, yeah, just enjoy the journey, because it will make this journey and working your vision much more exciting. I'll stop it here, and I'll give the word to Karen. Very excited to hear your story, Karen.
Thank you.